Yeah, one sec. How much is it? $4,000? Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm gonna do it myself. That was the dealership that called. They quoted me $4,000 for all the maintenance I'm about to show you in this video. I paid $550 for the parts, so you can do the math. Now, this is a 2017 Mercedes GLA 250. It just hit 100,000 miles. So some of the items in Mercedes terminology are gonna be service B items. Others are gonna be preventative maintenance items. And some items should have been done before, but weren't. So now let's throw some gloves on and let's get to it. First thing we wanna do is lift the car up, make sure it's level. This will help with a lot of the maintenance items we have coming up. I don't know if you can see that, we have our park brake light on. It's obviously in park. Just for peace of mind, I have a wheel chock. Before we lift up the car, we want to loosen up the wheel lug nuts. For this car, there is a special locking lug nut. So we'll need a 17mm socket. All right, we needed to go get a bigger impact gun. You can always do it with a regular wrench. I'm trying to save some time here. Now we have a floor jack. We're gonna get some jack stands. I'm gonna show you how to lift this up. That's the jack point for the front. Now we're just gonna lift it up. Now, once the tires come off the ground, we're gonna try to slide the jack stands in. Now, the other jack points for this car are here. And then here as well. So when you look here, there's like a jacking point. Now there is a special puck that goes in there. I only have a BMW puck. Hello from the other side. I think I'm gonna let Adele do the singing and I'll do the wrenching. I'm going to put that one side of the jacking point right here and it'll sit flush. That feels good. This side feels good. Now we do want to try to make this car level. So the rear is going to be a good bit higher since the driveway is at a slope. All right, now we're going to lower it back down. What I'm going to use is there's a measuring app if you have an iPhone. And I've already checked this out. I do apologize for the mess. As you can see, that's spot on. The green means that it's level all around, left to right, right to left. If I go like this, it'll tell me. If I go like this, and it started sprinkling. You know, working outside is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Where were we? I'm gonna try to keep you out of the rain. One day, I hope, I'll have my own garage. Now, before we do anything else, we wanna make sure that the jack stands are safe and it's secure. I'm just gonna move the car around a little bit. Check the front, that seems good. Check front to back. Oh yeah, that's solid. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna take the wheels off. I'm gonna channel my inner F1. All the tires are off now. I put one of the tires underneath here. I put two of the tires for safety. I'll put the last tire here. Item number one, engine oil change. So we're gonna open the hood by pulling this red lever and we're gonna press the hood latch to the left. There you go. Next, we are going to remove this engine cover. You just pry it straight up. There's 4 little rubber grommets on here. 5 rubber grommets. We're first going to remove this oil dipstick. It is very important. Leave this out until the very end. Next, we want to remove the oil cap. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. This will help with the oil flow when draining. I'm going to take our 27mm socket, and if you can see here is our oil filter. You don't need an extension bit. Now, also a good idea is to get some shop towels back here just to catch any oil spills. Now we can unscrew it by hand. All right, this is what it looks like. So pay attention when you're removing this, the direction. So notice that this little seal is at the bottom, facing down into the engine bay. There's 3 different spots where there's an O-ring. O-ring number 1 is right here. O-ring number 2 is right here. This oil filter is gonna come out. I'm gonna go ahead and remove it. You just pull it out. And then O-ring number 3 is right here. We're gonna take our new O-rings. We're gonna take a little pick to remove the old ones. I got a friend come visit me. Hi, silly kitty. You gonna come help me? It's the neighbor's cat. I know, it's raining outside. A little fluff ball. All right, gotta get back to work. Hopefully you can see that. That came right out. Super easy when you have the right tools. This one can be a little tricky. Ow, I stabbed myself. Okay, well, the O-ring broke. Man down. I didn't realize how sharp that pick was. So the new filter that we have comes with a new set of O-rings. Let's make sure not to drop it. I want to open it not over the engine bay. And what we're going to do is get some oil these O-rings up so they go in easier. Now, as you can see that these O-rings are different sizes. I don't think you can get it wrong. So the middle size goes right in the middle, just like that. That's one done. We're gonna go with the bigger one. Preferably use fresh oil, but because it's raining, I don't wanna open up the oil yet. And we're just gonna throw this one back on. There you go. All right, now onto the last one. The only reason why I'm doing it over the engine bay is because my camera's set up this way, but you don't want to take the chance of it falling somewhere into the engine bay. All three of them are now in place. Now we're going to install the new filter, put it facing away from us, apply even pressure, and then you'll hear a click or feel a click. Yeah, there you go. Now it's firmly in place. We're going to set this aside for now. We're going to go underneath the car and drain the old oil. We're going to see this engine oil pan cover. That's one. There's another one right here. And the last one is right here. So there's 3 total. And then this just comes out. You'll see the drain plug right here. And that's the 13mm socket. Now we're going to remove the drain plug and drain the oil. I don't see any metal shavings, so that's good. I'm gonna get our new crush washer and I'm gonna let this drain. We're gonna wipe off the drain plug. We're gonna install the new crush washer. And then I'm gonna set this aside. What I like to do is get a little bit of the new oil since we only need 5.9 quarts. So what I'm going to do is pour in a little bit of the new oil just so that this old oil gets flushed out a little bit. You don't have to do it, but that's just a personal preference. So we got our funnel. Make sure there's nothing in there. We went with a 5W40 Mobil 1 European car formula, full synthetic motor oil. Has the following builder approvals. MB 229.5 is what we need. Make sure you don't use just any oil. All right, that should be good. Now I'm gonna cover this back up until we're done with the bottom. Fresh, clean oil coming through. What I'm going to do is wipe off any dirt, thread the drain plug back on. We want to tie in the drain plug to 30 Newton meters until we hear a click. There we go. Now moving back up here, we're going to reinstall the new oil filter. It's not cross-threading. Perfect. The torque spec on this is 25 Newton meters, right at hand tight. That's in. All we have to do now is pour the new oil in. So as I mentioned before, this is 5.9 quarts. And just like that, we're going to pour very, very slowly. Feel the burn. 2 hours later. All right, that took forever. 5 quarts down, 0.9 to go. I'm gonna take a paper towel and rub the rubber gasket off because it looks a little dirty. Make sure the cap is facing us. That's my OCD. All right, now we're gonna put the dipstick back in. I'm gonna start the engine, run it for maybe a couple of seconds, and then let it sit for a couple of minutes. And then I'm gonna recheck the oil dipstick and add any oil if necessary. I'm also going to show you how to reset the service light at the end of this video. That's right at the max line. Now it's very important before you start doing the transmission fluid flush, make sure that you can read the temperature oil level. So we're going to plug this in. Diagnostics, we're going to hit vid ID, we're going to hit auto detect. So it's going to do its thing. That's okay. Transmission is 724 if you have the automatic. Now we're going to do diagnosis, auto scan. Now once it gets to 100%, we want to scroll down until we find the transmission control unit. We're going to hit the right arrow. We're going to hit the live data, temperature sensors right there. 42 degrees Celsius, oil temperature of transmission. We're good to go. Turn the car off, turn this off. In order for us to do the transmission fluid flush, we need to take out this air box, which is a perfect way to do step number 3, check the engine air filter. The 4 bolts that are holding this in place are T25. We're also going to unscrew this clamp right here. So I realized I wasn't recording. Put everything back. It's like it never happened. We're going to take a flathead screwdriver and we're going to unscrew this, pull this box off right here, wiggle this out. The recommended engine air filter replacement is 40,000 miles. I replaced mine a year ago or 20,000 miles ago. As you can see, it's dirty, but it's still in good shape. So what I'm going to do is take an air compressor, blow this out. In order to get to the transmission oil filter pan, it's underneath this air filter box. So what we have to do is take this out. We're gonna have to remove the ECU and get it out of the way. 2 clips right here. You just pull it back here, and you're just gonna set this aside. Don't lose this orange rubber gasket. I replaced this recently because this was ripping. So I remember having a hard time putting this in. So I'm gonna take this out as a whole unit. And I'm going to just push this down and get it out of the way. Try not to break anything. Easier said than done sometimes. Now next is we want to figure out how to get the rest of this air filter box out. I do see that there's wires that are zip tied to this air filter box, and I'm gonna just cut these zip ties and get that out of the way. It's on rubber grommets, so now we should just be able to pull this up. All right, we got 1 out of the way and 2 out of the way. I got the whole thing. It all came out. There's these rubber grommets. Sometimes they come off with the air box. We're gonna put this back. where it came from. Beautiful. Just to show you, one rubber grommet, two rubber grommets, and the third one's here. So that's where the air box sits. So now this is the transmission oil pan. This is the small transmission oil cooler filter. Wow, that's a tongue twister. 19mm socket, and then we're just going to unscrew this. Now we're going to remove the oil filter cap. Just for comparison, I'm going to show you the new one. I mean, probably a good idea that we're replacing this. So the transmission oil filter replacement is recommended at 60,000 miles or 6 years, whichever comes first. I don't think this vehicle ever did that. So that's why we're replacing at 100,000 miles versus 120,000 miles. So now we're gonna pull this out. Next, we wanna take our T30 and remove the 3 screws at the top. We still need to drain the transmission fluid. This one's a little bit of a tricky bolt to get to. Hey, that's the second one. On to the third and final one on the top. There's really not much room to work here. Dealership quoted $800 to do this job. It's not difficult, it's just tedious. What I found out for this, push it in first, pry this middle connector out. That's one side. Okay, there we go. Now it should come out. What you have to do is not only unclip these so that they're all the way out, but push up on the charge pipe, get this pin out because this is what was holding me up this entire time, and then unclip this left side as well. Now I have more room. Okay, final bolts out. We're gonna start draining the transmission oil. We're gonna need a 14mm hex bit, which is right here. Yeah, it's a good thing that we're replacing it. We have the oil drain plug for the transmission. A good bit of gunk on there. It's really not bad. It is a good thing that we're replacing this transmission fluid. The main thing to look out for is any like big metal shavings. We're good. We're gonna wipe this off. This is the new washer. And we're gonna tighten it to 30 Newton meters. Now what we're gonna do next is remove the rest of these oil pan bolts. Last two are a little tricky to get to. 8 total. Now we have the oil pan out. I'm gonna go underneath and pull it out. I'll unscrew this one as well. We're having some clearance issues. That's all we needed, I guess. Hey, look at that. I could just edit it and make it look like it all took 30 seconds. So this is what the secondary oil filter looks like. Pull on it forward towards the front of the car so that it comes out. There we go. This is what it looks like from the top. This is what we pulled out. All of this is right here in the new kit. We're peeling off the old rubber gasket. I want to just wipe this down. Isopropyl alcohol. Make sure you put it in the right way. So there's these little plastic or rubber tabs facing the oil pan. We're gonna make sure that's all lined up. And just like that. Perfect. Now with this transmission fluid flush kit, it came with new oil pan bolts, so we're going to use that. Now with the oil pan and the new gasket ready to go in, we're just going to put the new filter, slide it back in. Now we're going to try to fit the oil pan back in. And just like that, we're in business. I drained all the old oil back into this 5-quart jug, and it's right there. So I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna pour in 5 quarts, and then I'm going to check the transmission fluid level. So there's this little pin right here. We already took it out. My dad did. Already took it out before I could film it, but you can just pull this out. It looks like this little red tab right here. This is the new one that we're gonna put. It locks it into place. Ours actually broke off, so I had to push it through. When you take it off, be careful. This little O-ring might be in here. We're gonna set this aside. We're gonna finish putting the screws in the oil pan. This job is a little bit more tedious than I anticipated, but we will prevail. Okay, the torque specs for the oil pan bolts are 8 Newton meters. So just basically hand tighten. So my torque wrench doesn't go down to 8 Newton meters. So we're just gonna go tighten it by hand. We got our secondary fuel filter. I don't think it clicks in. It just sits there. Yep, nope, it just sits there. I'm gonna take the old O-ring off. We're gonna put some oil on the new O-ring. This is the 19mm. Now we're going to tighten it to 25 Newton meters. All right, that's O2 sensor wire back here. Now we're going to pour 5 quarts into here. Now I want to go with this Fuchs-Tine DCF, which came with the transmission fluid flush kit. You can go with OEM if you want. Based on what we poured out, I'm going to start with 5 quarts. Look how clean that oil looks compared to what we poured out. This should run super smooth now. It's time to put the air filter box back in. We got some zip ties. I'm going to go with the black ones to keep it all OEM spec. Like that. I'm going to thread another one through here. Line everything up. Lift up the wires. Now it's in. Okay. That's not going anywhere. We're going to line this up. That's in. We're going to zip tie some zip ties. That's in place. That one, just going to put right back where we found it. Well, actually, let's see if I can tuck this away first. Perfect. All right. All we got to do is put the ECU back in. We're going to clip the clips back in. Slide in here. Now it's seated in, but I want to make sure that everything is flush here. I'm going to tighten this up. Just hand tying it is going to be good enough. Before I tighten those, I want to just make sure that these are in place. I'm going to put the cover bolts on. I do think there's supposed to be like an engine cover here, a little plastic bit, but I don't see one. I'm not going to worry about it. Now we're going to clean off any oil. We need to make sure that it's not leaking anywhere. All right, now the moment of truth. I'm going to actually read this. The work instructions gives measurement values for either 40 degrees Celsius or 70 degrees Celsius with a tolerance of only 2 degrees Celsius. Very important to get this right, or else it will give you an incorrect oil level and it will cause maybe shift issues, transmission issues, all sorts of fun stuff. So here's our dipstick. At 40 degrees Celsius, it's got to be at level 4. At 70 degrees Celsius, it's going to be at mark 5. You have about 2-minute window once it reaches the temperature to check, add, recheck, and make sure it's at the exact mark when all said and done. No pressure. All right, value is 31. I'm going to start it up. And you just want to let it idle. You don't want to press the gas pedal. You don't want to rev it. And now we're just going to wait until the value hits 40 degrees. While it's warming up, I'm gonna go check the bottom, make sure it's not leaking from anywhere. I do have an error message that says service required. Do not shift gears. Visit dealer. Let's see if that goes away. And if it doesn't, then we might have done something. Everything over here seems to be running fine. Everything looks dry here as well. It's game time. Can I perform under pressure? It's a real question. Yeah, I mean, we're at 1.5, so yeah, definitely low on oil. I'm gonna pour the rest of this one. That's quart number 5 in. So I'm gonna recheck again, just slightly over 2. So I'm gonna keep pouring the oil in. I'd like to get this done in one shot, one opportunity. The finish is naturally shiny, so it just makes the dipstick super hard to read. All right, good morning. Day 2. I guess we only got through 3 service items. So thinking I was gonna get through all 17 yesterday was a little ambitious. Today we gotta get it done. You know, I'm starting with the hardest items first. I hope that some of the last maybe like 10 items should be pretty straightforward and easy and quick. So today I'm gonna recheck the transmission oil levels. Yesterday, car got a little too hot. By the time I let it cool off, it was already dark, so you wouldn't be able to see anything. I feel like I got hit by a bus. I worked 12 hours yesterday and worked out in the morning. Did legs yesterday. Probably not a good combination, but we're grinding. All right, attempt number 2. That's right at 4. And I think that's the job done. We're gonna take our cap to the transmission back on there where we found it. We're gonna take our new locking pin. Now I just gotta slide the pin back in. That doesn't come out, nope. That transmission fluid flush job is officially done. So I also wanted to show you that yesterday when the oil level was low, the air for the transmission, once we topped off the oil and it was at the right level, you can see that we don't have that error message anymore. Obviously this car has sensors. It's smart enough to know when the oil level in the transmission is low. I'm just gonna try to put it into different gears. And that was, I didn't feel it shift at all. Yeah, that's smooth. So we'll go test it out whenever we're done with everything. We want to reset the service light. You want to take this start stop button, you want to pull it out. You want to take your key, you want to just put it into the first click. You want to be at the mileage screen. And what you want to do next is hold the telephone button and hit the OK button almost at the same time. You're going to hit the telephone button first, and right after you're going to hit the OK button. And you're going to just hold it until you see this pop-up screen right here. You want to go to Assist Plus. We want to go to Full Service. We want to confirm full service. We got to go figure out what our oil grade was. I want to go with 229.5. Select 229.5. Oil grade 229.5. Service carried out. Yes. Cannot be undone. Hit the confirm button. Full service carried out. We're gonna press OK. Now we're just gonna scroll all the way back until we're at the mileage. We're gonna turn the ignition off. We're gonna put our button back in. And now we're gonna start the car up and verify that the B0 service doesn't come back on. And as you can see, there is no service light anymore. Just like that, we're all done. Okay, service item number 4, brake fluid flush.